That exchange wasn't just tense. It was a window into something deeper, a government that loves the word accountability, right up until accountability points upward. Because when a senator asks a simple question, who decides what fraud gets prosecuted? The answer shouldn't be a fog machine. And what you're about to hear isn't just a lawyer dodging. It's a system protecting its own discretion, a system that can chase fraud when it's convenient and redefine it when it's not.
On your nomination, what kind of fraud are you going to go after?
Senator, the core that I would say that we're going to go after within this division initially as we build out will be taxpayer-funded programs such as Medicaid, such as the SNAP program, and other subsidiary HHS, USDA, et cetera, programs. We will be putting our view there.
Who's going to make the decision about which of these specific types of fraud you go after?
Senator, in the course of building out investigations, we work directly with the federal investigators.
Who's going to make the decision about which specific types of fraud you go after?
Senator, with respect to this role, I believe I will be working with the Deputy Attorney General and the Attorney General to figure out how we prioritize this mountain of fraud.
So it's you, the Deputy Attorney General, and the Attorney General?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. So if you've got 10 cases of clear fraud, you and the deputy and the Attorney General will sit down and decide which ones to prosecute and prioritize?
Well, Senator, when it comes to the case level, that work happens within our line AUSAs.
Counselor, I got 5 minutes. No disrespect. You're a good guy. Answer my question.
At the programmatic level and as we build out the division, those decisions will be made with the Deputy Attorney General and the Attorney General. With respect to specific case questions,
do you already have cases in mind?
I do not have cases in mind, Senator.
Okay. So suppose we can agree. I think that the federal taxpayers, American taxpayers, put up between 50 and 90% of the money in the Medicaid program. States love it. Let's suppose that you have a governor who knows there's fraud in his Medicaid program, but he ignores it because he would lose all this federal money. Is that fraud?
Senator, I think that's a form of fraud, waste, and abuse. Whether it fits within the contours of criminal culpability,
is that the sort of thing you're going to look at?
Senator, as referenced earlier, we will be looking at the full scope of fraud.
Answer my question, Counselor. Is that the sort of thing you're going to look at?
Senator, I do plan to look at the full range of potentially criminally culpable actors.
Let's suppose, are you familiar with an Inspector General?
Yes,
I'm sure
Senator.
you are, because you're a good lawyer. Let's suppose, and you're aware, I'm sure, that Inspectors General act independently of a Cabinet Secretary. Cabinet Secretary under the law, I think it's 5 U.S.C. Section 417, can only overrule an Inspector General if what that Inspector General is doing is dramatically hurts the U.S. interests or some sort of pretty language like that. Let's suppose an Inspector General comes in and Cabinet Secretary or a senior official says to an Inspector General, I want to know what cases you're investigating. And you have to tell me. And if any of them are going to impact me in terms of my reputation, I'm going to pull you off of them. Is that fraud?
Senator, I would see that as a form of conflict of interest to the extent that that'll look bad for the Cabinet Secretary.
I know that. Is that the sort of thing you're going to get involved in?
Senator, I will be focused on criminal prosecutions That will be my focus in identifying fraudsters operating, taking money.
Let's suppose the Census Bureau tells you that 11% of the American people are poor, and we get to decide the definition. But we're going to exclude about 80% of the federal benefits that we give to folks in determining this 11%. So that instead of 11%, we really have only 1% of the American people that are below the poverty level. Is that fraud? Is it fraud if a cabinet secretary knows that and doesn't do anything about it?
Senator, there are a range of criminal tools that the Department of Justice can bring to bear.
Is that fraud?
Fraud in the classic sense of executing a scheme to defraud a government program, probably not.
Is it right?
No, it is not right.
Is it moral?
No, it is not, Senator.
Is it ethical?
Senator,
Does not seem ethical to me, Senator.
Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Ronald.
This wasn't a debate about policy details. This was a stress test for clarity, for backbone, for whether fraud enforcement means what taxpayers think it means or whatever Washington needs it to mean in the moment. Watch the pattern. The senator asks the basic question, what fraud are you going after? The nominee answers with the safe list. Medicaid, SNAP, the big taxpayer-funded programs. It sounds tough. It sounds like action. But then comes the question Washington hates most, the one that turns slogans into responsibility. Who decides? Who picks the targets? And suddenly you get process language, coordination, investigators, building out, words that sound official while revealing almost nothing. Notice what the senator keeps doing. He keeps dragging the conversation back to the core, not the resume, not the framework, the decision, and eventually the nominee admits it. Priorities get set at the very top, with the Deputy Attorney General and the Attorney General. And to be clear, this isn't about attacking this administration. It's about demanding that any administration answers to taxpayers. To an ordinary American, this doesn't feel like prioritization. It feels like a few people deciding how enforcement gets prioritized and whether standards stay consistent. Then the senator asks a simple hypothetical. If there are 10 clear fraud cases, do you sit down and choose which to prosecute? The nominee tries to slide away. Case-level decisions, line counsel, and the senator cuts through it. I got 5 minutes. Answer my question. That line matters because it exposes what taxpayers already suspect. In Washington, process can become a substitute for answers. Vagueness becomes a shield. I can't speak to specifics becomes a lifestyle. Then the senator presses where it really hurts. Not the cartoon villain, but fraud that can hide behind politics. A governor who knows there's fraud in Medicaid, but ignores it because the federal money keeps flowing. Now stop and think. That's not a petty scam. That's choosing to look away while a program bleeds, and families are told there's never enough. So the senator asks the obvious, is that fraud? And what do we get? Fraud, waste, and abuse. It sounds serious, but it dodges the only thing that matters. Is it criminal? Is it prosecutable? Will you go after people with power or only the people without it? The nominee's answer stays wrapped in careful language, the full range of potentially criminally culpable actors. Potentially culpable actors. That's not clarity, that's insulation. Then it goes darker. Interference. What if a cabinet secretary pressures an inspector general? Tell me what you're investigating, and if it makes me look bad, I'll pull you off it. That isn't just unethical. That's an attempt to control oversight itself. So the senator asks, is that fraud? And the nominee calls it a conflict of interest. Not fraud, a conflict. Do you see the slope? When the target is faceless, the language is bold. When the target is powerful, the language turns soft. Finally, the senator hits the heart of trust. Manipulation. If the government can change definitions and reduce poverty on paper, is that fraud? The nominee admits it's probably not fraud in the classic sense. And the senator's response lands like a verdict. Not moral, not ethical. Here's why this matters. We're watching the line between wrong and punishable become a hiding place. And yes, in a free country, we don't prosecute people for being immoral. But when the government controls trillions, writes the rules, and enforces them, clarity is not optional. Accountability is not optional. And leaders who can't answer basic questions under pressure aren't being careful. They're defending how much discretion the system gives them.